Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on this Sunday reset. Today, I really want to get clear on the whole purpose of Sunday reset. And it is to basically just hit the reset button on your upcoming week. You know, we get so caught up inside of the events that occur, and then we let these events define us, right? So like we'll say something like, you know, my boss got me really upset at this meeting, so then now we're upset. So then you're upset for the rest of the day, and then sometimes it carries on to the next day, and then you see your boss that next day, and then the upset, it just intensifies, right? So it's really, these Sunday resets are to get you present to how much power we give away in our daily lives, right? And so what I want you to do is really get connected to your power. And so today specifically, how do you show up powerfully? It's by accomplishing your goals. We all set goals in our lives, whether we do it in a format, you know, where it's like we write things down or we journal about them. But in our mind, we keep a category, we keep a catalog of goals that we want to accomplish. And the reason I'm talking about goal settings is because it's 2019 is only a few, it's only a few days away, really. And so a lot of us get into a situation where we want to create new goals for ourselves, right? And the biggest thing occurs, which is we don't accomplish these goals. Usually around by February, like we start dropping down, right? It's just like, you know what? I had big goals, not gonna happen next year. That's what we do. How many of you have ever done that? How many of you have ever set a goal up and then by February, March maybe, you're just like, next year, right? So today's broadcast is all about how to set yourself up powerfully so that doesn't occur, right? Because there's three things to do when it comes to your goals to really set yourself up to complete them, to accomplish them, right? And get that sense of accomplishment, because why do we set goals up in the first place? To accomplish them. And why do we want to feel accomplished? Because it means we created a goal and then we met it, whatever the measurement of success was, right? Okay, so, and also want to make it so super duper clear that when I do these broadcasts or when I give you these tips and suggestions and considerations, I want you to really get the world of it, right? I want you to get the world of it that I'm coming to you from a place of, I've already done this, or this is my practice, this is what I'm doing, right? It's never like, oh, I read a book and I've never done it, let me put it out into the universe. No, it's really like, this is what I do, and this is what's helped me, you know, really accomplish the goals and stick with it, right? Because it's very important. It's very important that when you create a goal, you are able to accomplish it, because that's how powerful you are. And I really want you to tap into that power, right? Whether it's a relationship goal, whether it's a financial goal, whether it's a career goal, whether it's a mommy parenting goal, whether it's, you know, whatever area you're in, we create goals. And when we don't accomplish them, we have a sense of failure. And just like when your boss upsets you and the upset gets bigger and bigger and it goes into your next day and it carries on to the rest of the week, that's what happens when we feel failure. When we have a failure, is that then we now identify ourselves as, well, I'm a failure, right? So like, I can't accomplish goals. And then we just like get resigned in our own life, right? So tip number 1 on accomplishing goals. And this is a new way to accomplish goals. So I want you, as you listen to this, just take a deep breath, take a deeper one, and really connect to, I want you to listen to this newly. And what I mean by that is some of this you've already heard, and it's not about listening to it again or being like, oh yeah, I remember that, or I already know this. It's really about what action is this going to motivate you to take, right? Because I am not a transformation coach. I am not a life coach. I'm an action coach. I want you to take action. So listen newly. And as you listen newly, you're going to start to discover some new action to take that's going to align you with the goals that you want to accomplish. Okay, so you guys ready? All right, so much build up, right? Oh my God. So I see a lot of you have just tuned in. Hey, Shivy. Hey, Freddie. Thank you so much for joining us. And then on the Facebook Live, we've got another set of people. And then we're going to have some YouTubers come on later on. And so I say hi to you in advance. So, okay, goal setting. Here are 3 tips on how to create goals and accomplish them. Tip number 1, you got to know your outcome. That's the first thing that you do. So I suggest you write it down. I suggest either in your phone, somewhere where you can easily access it, you create the goal, and then right next to it, you create the outcome. And what I mean by that is, let's say your goal is to lose weight. Okay, so how do you know that you've reached that success? If your goal is to save money, how will you know that you've reached that success? So you define it as specific as possible. If your goal is to lose weight, then your measure of success is you've lost 10 pounds. You've lost 5 pounds. So when you've met that 5-pound loss, right, your goal has been met. You accomplished it. When we set ourselves up for failure, it looks something like this. I just want to lose weight. But because we don't define it, you could actually have lost half a pound, 3 ounces, right? And that's losing weight. That's not what you want. You want to get as specific as possible. If your goal is to save money, you want to say, I want to save $3,000 this month. I want to save $10,000 by 2020. And so then you know, are you reaching that goal? Because you've created measures of success. Does that make sense? So when you create your goal, the first thing to do is define what that goal is. And then right next to it, how will you know that you've met that goal? What's that measure of success? So is it X amount of pounds, X amount of money? I've gone out. So let's say you're single. This is a big one. A lot of my clients, a lot of people that I know are into this one. You're single. You want to be in a relationship in 2019. So what's a measure of success, right? It could be that you're in a relationship, or, you could not put so much pressure on yourself and just be that you're going out on dates once a week. So that's 4 a month, right? So that's how you know you're going towards your goal, is because you are actually going out on dates. Okay, so we get that. So it is know your outcome. Okay, number 1, know your outcome. 2, you guys ready for this? Pay attention. If you guys are taking notes, or if you're not, take notes right here, because tip number 2 is plan your work. Break down the steps, right? So if the goal is to be in a relationship, and your outcome is going on dates every week, what will you have to do on a daily basis in order to get that date on a Friday, or go on a coffee date on a Sunday? That means that you'll have to be out there, on the dating apps, or getting set up with blind dates, whatever it is, right? You want to break that down. What we seem to do is we seem to create these goals and then just think magic's going to happen. That's not the way it works, right? Think about it. If you're unemployed and you're not out there applying for jobs, updating your resume, reaching out to recruiters, telling your network you're looking for a job is not going to land nicely on your lap. No. So think about it this way. What does that job seeker have to do in order to get that job? To go from unemployed to employed? There's steps, right? So this is how you want to break your goal down. And that's step number 2, which is plan your work. Break down what the things are. What are those things? What are those steps? What are those little milestones that you have to reach and accomplish that are going to get you close? So the breakdown happens when you set goals up, when you don't create the steps to accomplish the goal. So then, and tell me if this happens to you, you get overwhelmed. You're just like, oh my God, I said I was going to be in a relationship by June 2020 or 2019, and it's only 6 months away. And then you panic, and then that's when you're like, nah, I'll just do it. I'll just do it next year, right? It's that feeling of overwhelm. If you break down what you have to do daily or weekly to accomplish, remember, you've already created your outcome, and your outcome is different than the goal. The goal might be lose weight, but the outcome is lose 20 pounds. You see the difference there? It's an alignment with the goal, but the outcome is different. It's so specific. It's to be in a loving, generous relationship by 2019. And then so the goal is to be in a relationship, but the specific outcome is da 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 da. Okay. So tip number 2, this is where a lot of failure occurs and feeling of overwhelm happens because you haven't broken down the steps in order to create the outcome, in order to achieve the goal. So when you're feeling that overwhelm, like, this is too much, you know, and a lot of people, they're too much, they shut down. They start to shut down, and then they stop talking to those around them. They go inward. They avoid, right? They resist what has to be done. And this is your goal, guys. This is your money. This is your relationship. This is your career. So why shut down? You know, this is your business. So I want you to reconnect with, why did you have this goal in the first place? Okay, so tip number 2, you got to break down the steps. And then lastly, tip number 3 is to check in and adjust, right? And what really allows you to check in and adjust is breaking down in level 2 what those steps are. Because if you're in week 3 and what you're doing isn't working, you don't see you're getting closer to the goal, you're not losing weight, then you got to adjust. Check in and adjust, and maybe you got to reach out to someone and have a conversation and just say, listen, my goal is to lose weight, more specifically, lose 15 pounds. It's not happening. Do you have any tips? Do you have any suggestions? Like, I'm completely open to what you got, you know, how you lost it. And what I want you to do is I want you to really make a list of people that have accomplished the goal that you're trying to accomplish. Because that way it gives you a resource list. So when you're creating this goal, you don't feel so alone. Because a lot of us are lone wolves, right? It's like if your goal is to get 50,000 followers on social, now it's like on your shoulders. Like, how am I going to do this? You know? And it's like, if you already knew how to do it, you would have done it. Does that make sense? So I really want you to connect with, check in and adjust. And who you check in with is not just you, but those around you that have already accomplished this goal. All right. So what questions do you guys have? Right. I want you to text them to me. I want you to email them, tweet them at Nandoism, leave them here on the Facebook Live, on Instagram, YouTube, wherever, iTunes, the podcast, if you're listening, just reach out and let me know, what are your goals? What outcome are you setting yourself up for? How are you going to break this down? And then more importantly, who's your resource list? Who are those people on your resource list that are going to help you accomplish and be that motivation to cheer you on? A lot of times, not only are these folks your resources, but they're also your champions. They want you to get this goal too, right? So guys, remember, any goal that you set, it truly is reachable. It truly is available for you to reach. 60 seconds. So I want you to connect with what are these goals that you want to set for yourself, and just have fun with it. Don't take it so serious, because that also is what happens in tip number 2 and step 2 is like that overwhelm. And it's because you've taken it too serious. Have fun. Reach out to people. Make it fun. If you don't know how to make it fun, then reach out to me. I'll insert some fun. You might not like it because I'm gonna have you do some stuff that you ain't used to doing, but that's what we all need, right? Break out of the old, create something new for yourself, right? Because if you're not taking action, then nothing changes, nothing shifts in your life, okay? So guys, have fun, have an amazing Sunday, reset for your week, create these goals, accomplish them, give yourself an opportunity to feel success. And I will see you next week. And remember, I am here to make your life sexier.